Hey, church family, I wanted to take this opportunity to present you with another word of encouragement as we continue to pray for the recovery of our country. Now, I'll remind you, it was back in the middle of March when I started producing these daily videos. And the reason for why I started producing these videos is due to the fact that we decided that it was time to encourage our congregation to stay at home. This was the most difficult pastoral decision that I've ever made, to tell people to not come to church. It was extremely difficult to make this decision, and for several reasons. You see, we all had limited information about the novel coronavirus, and so I decided that it was just better to be safe than sorry. And so we encouraged people to stay home. At the same time, I knew that this decision could potentially scatter the congregation that I've been called to lead, and knowing that we're all struggling to make sense of the situation at hand, I decided to start producing a daily video in order to provide the people in our church with updates, as well as a pastoral perspective on the entire pandemic. Well, then it was the end of April when Governor Greg Abbott, he gave us the green light to reopen the churches here in Texas. And that's when I decided to schedule the reopening of Calvary South Austin on Mother's Day. And since then, I've encouraged those who are high risk to continue sheltering in place while simultaneously encouraging those who are healthy to push past the fear of this virus by coming on out and returning to church. Now, I have no doubt that we all struggle with various levels of fear when it comes to the novel coronavirus. Some of us are extremely afraid, some of us are a little afraid, but I'm sure we all have some level of fear. And it's for this reason that I've attempted to present you with the data which will help us to overcome our fear of the unknown. One reason for taking this approach, well, it's due to the fact that I'm a germaphobe. I've been very clear about this. I've been very open about my germophobia, and so I've personally struggled with the fear of this virus. I'm not going to lie. I've spent, literally several hours every day since March examining the research so that I can know the difference between the scary stories that foment fear and the data-driven facts that help us to make good logical decisions. And while there has most certainly been a selfish component to the time that I've spent personally pursuing the truth of this, it's also been my goal to provide the people that I've been called to pastor with encouraging data that I've discovered in my own time, researching all of this, and with the goal of helping all of us to overcome the fear that I'm sure that we're all struggling with to varying degrees. I'll be the first to confess, I don't want to catch COVID-19. I don't want to get infected. And listen, I don't want anyone in our church to catch this virus, and especially those who are more vulnerable. Which is why I've consistently encouraged those who belong to those high-risk categories to just continue sheltering in place. At the same time, I also believe that the data is perfectly clear. Back in March, we had almost no information, and now we have a ton of information. And as we consider the data at hand, there's no reason for those who are healthy to continue in lockdown. The CDC recently revealed the proof of my point, as the current data helps us to see that 94% of those who have died with COVID-19 also had underlying medical conditions known as comorbidities, and most of them actually had multimorbidities. With that being the case, listen, those of us who are healthy, we can come back to church with the confidence of knowing that COVID-19 is not a death sentence for those of us who are healthy. I realize that there are those who disagree with my assessment of all the facts. And it's possible that there are some who have been offended by my encouragements. And if this is true of you, I simply ask you to believe the best about me. Would you believe the best about me? It's not my desire to offend anyone, and I can assure you that my only goal has been to help our congregation to overcome our fear of this novel coronavirus, and so that we can return to our Christian congregation with some level of confidence. Please trust me when I tell you that the love of the Lord has been my motivation. And my love for you has been the reason for why I'm working so hard to make sure that the enemy doesn't use this pandemic to divide our fellowship of faith. I like the way that the Apostle John put this in 1 John chapter 4. It's there where he declares, God is love, and he who abides in love abides in God, and God in him. Love has been perfected among us in this, that we may have boldness in the day of judgment, because as he is, so are we in this world. There is no fear in love, but perfect love casts out fear. Now, I have no doubt that we're all struggling with fear to varying degrees. And it's for this reason that I encourage you, let's walk in the love of the Lord. Because remember, the perfect love of the Lord will cast out the fear that we're struggling with today. With this as the goal, I invite you to join us here at Calvary South Austin as we continue to make our way through the Gospel of Luke. And if you're still unable to attend, then you can tune in for the live stream of our second service, or also the live stream of our Wednesday night service. If you want to know more about our service times or the measures that we're taking to sanitize our facilities, well, you can find all this information right here at calvarysouthaustin.com. I hope to see you soon. But until I do, let's continue to fight the good fight of faith, all for the glory of God.